hopefully. Hello.
Hello.
Good to see you. Right. Okay. We'll just give it a minute or two, see if anybody does join us. We'll see. If anybody joins us, all well and good. If not, it's just the two of us. So, good afternoon and welcome to this third episode of Ask Angelika, where Angelika answers questions about the German language. Good afternoon, Angelika.
Good afternoon, Stephen, and good afternoon anybody who is listening or who will be listening.
And indeed watching the replay. Now, basically the format is that we take questions during the course of the run-up to the show, and then Angelika will answer them live on air. So our first question today, if I can get this right, just give me a second. Okay. When I introduce myself in German, do I have to give my surname as well as my first name?
Yes, a good question, particularly for English people. I can't talk too much about other nationalities. They may be different for them. But in England, the standard is if I were to meet you, say at a business meeting, and I said to you, oh, and what's your name? How would you answer it?
My name's Stephen.
Well, exactly. And I would just say, oh, I'm Angelika. We would just introduce ourselves with our first name. Now, in Germany, a lot of Germans are still very formal. If you're learning German, you will have most likely by now heard that there are two words for the you, the formal you, the Sie, and the informal you, the du. Very quickly explained, du you use with members of the family, really good friends and children. Students would use du as well. But adults that you don't know use the formal you. Now, things are changing in Germany. A lot of Germans are quite happy with using the English way as well. But there are equally a lot of Germans who still are very formal. How do you know?
Indeed, yeah.
And you don't. So the best way always is if you're introducing yourself, so you've just learned how to say ich heiße, or you've learned how to say mein Name ist by introducing yourself with first name and surname. Because what happens then is if I said to you, guten Tag, wie heißen Sie? What could your answer be?
Ich heiße Stephen Healy.
Right, now Stephen's given both his names, giving me now the choice to continue with the conversation how I feel as a German most happy. If I am a very formal person who's still insisting on surnames and everything else, then I would then say, guten Tag, Herr Healy. Yeah. And that would be your cue then. Right, okay, that person there is still very formal. They're on first surname and the formal you. I know now how to carry on talking to this person.
Wie geht es Ihnen?
Exactly. And then I would have said, fine. Oh, that's English. Oops. Gut, danke. Und Ihnen. That's because we're talking English now, isn't it? Mind you, this is probably what a lot of English people do when they're in Germany. Had I, though, once you said, ich heiße Stephen Healy, I may have just said, hello, Stephen.
Hello, Angelika.
That would have been your cue. Great. First names, they're fine.
Wie geht's?
Exactly. And then this time I will reply in German, gut, danke. Und dir?
Ich bin gut, danke.
So until you know whether that person is using the formal you or the informal you, I would always suggest use the formal you. It is a lot easier to go from the formal you to the informal you if the other person actually is quite easygoing than the other way around. You could be putting your foot in it if you think you can use first name and du. For example, a job interview. Whatever you do, do not just say, ich heiße Stephen, if you're going for a job interview in Germany. You won't get that job.
Right.
Yeah. If you are a business person and you want that business deal, you want to stick to the formal you. You can always change from formal to informal, but it's almost impossible to change from informal to formal. And once you've made that mistake, that mistake may have already ruined your business deal. So it's a tricky thing. While you don't know how the other person is going to react, it is always safe to stay with the formal you until you know better.
Thank you. So stay safe and be formal until you get to know the person.
Unless you're a student and you want to go and study in Germany, all the students are on informal terms as well, and a lot of tutors as well. So the university lectures, but there again, I would just err on the safe side and would find out first whether they are all on first name terms or not.
Okay. Right, question 2. And read it for you. For learners, how, I'm not translating it, I'm reading it. For learners, how best to develop a learning plan or syllabus for, say, a semester-long commitment. So how do you plan ahead?
Yes, this is for people, this question is actually from John, who is teaching himself, and he does everything on his own. And although he tries to fit all 4 skills in, so reading, listening, writing and speaking, he hasn't really got like a curriculum, really. It's a very, very tricky thing to answer, and I'm actually slightly struggling myself with an answer to that one. That's one of the reasons why I like using textbooks, because textbooks already have got it all laid out. So you know, when you're starting in the page 1 and you're working your way through, you know that you will have covered everything that needs to be covered. Unfortunately for German, there are, well, fortunately, there are still good books for beginners, but once you've gone past that stage of beginner, it gets actually quite difficult to find a really good book that is suitable. So if, like John, you're then doing it on your own, yes, you can find lots of videos online you can watch, and you can do lots of reading online, and there are loads and loads of things you can do for free or for a fee as well online. But how to get like a scheme, really?
Well, it's a structure, isn't it? It's a structure.
The structure is missing.
Yeah.
And the only thing I could suggest may be worth it, if he looks at maybe a grammar book, or even a website with grammar stuff online, to see the bits that he hasn't covered yet. And make himself a plan, say, for the next month or the next term, whichever one he wants to do, and to sort of make a plan. Right, well, I would like to learn this grammar structure, and then followed by that, and followed by that. And so he can then, during that month or during that term, he can then find exercises to go with that particular grammar topic. When he reads anything German, he could do 2 things. He could, one, just read for the enjoyment, which I would suggest he does most of the time anyway. But whichever grammar topic he's just practicing, so let's say it's, I don't know, he's practicing accusative prepositions. He may also want to choose a text, any text, and see if he can find some accusative prepositions, just to reinforce what he's just been learning. And you could possibly do the same with listening exercises and what's the one missing now? The speaking one. Yes, that's not too sure. He would need, if he finds, well, if he has somebody who he is practicing German with, speaking bit, maybe then saying, right, for the next 5 minutes, can we just talk about this particular topic that I've just learned? Right. It is really difficult. There are, like I said, there are so many things there, but most of them all have their sort of their own structure, or they're just videos. If he goes onto YouTube to watch videos, well, then that's all he finds, videos there. So it would require a little bit of planning on his account to see, right, which bits am I not very good at and I really need to learn. And I guess for that, he could just look at a grammar book, or find the index of a grammar book, any book really, and even if he doesn't use that one, and just sort of look through the index and sort of in his mind tick off, right, accusative, no, done that one, okay, done that one, done that one. There's something I haven't learned yet. Let's make that the focus for this month.
Right. Yeah. And similarly for months 2 and 3.
Well, yes, exactly. And once he's at the end of the month, then do a bit of a review, saying, oh, that went really well. Yes, I know this topic now. Let's go for the next one. Or I spent another month on this topic because I didn't do enough, or it hasn't quite stuck yet.
Yep. Okay. Do you see a blog being written about that?
A complete blog. I have written a blog about using text to practice certain grammar topics.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't written a blog post about learners who teach themselves who want to carry on. I think what I may do is I may ask John in a month's time to see how he got on. And if he says that was a good idea, then I'll write the blog, but I may just wait until then.
Right. Which brings us to our third question. And again, I shall post it and read it out. Right. I seem to be covering a lot and using various tools for all 4 aspects of German, but it does not seem to flow. Why should I learn German? They all speak English.
Right.
Can we take that in sections?
No, the first section was the last bit of John's question.
Right. What are the 4 aspects of German?
Now that was the listening, reading, speaking, and writing.
Okay.
That was still part of John's question, because he said he's covering a lot in his learning, in his own learning, but he was missing the structure.
Mm-hmm.
The last question is the one that I hear so many times. Why should I learn German? They all speak English anyway. Yes. Now, to an extent, of course, the people have got a point. Although I wouldn't go as far as they all speak English. A lot of Germans speak English. Most Germans learn English as their first foreign language. I say most because, or nowadays it's probably all of them, but the older generation in the former East Germany, they used to learn Russian as their first language. So there may still be people who don't speak any English at all. There are a lot of German people in Germany who, yes, they have learned English at school, but that doesn't mean they can speak it. We can say the same in England. Everybody actually in England has learned a foreign language, or maybe not everybody. No, probably it would be everybody has learned a foreign language. So they should be able to speak it. But they don't. And there are Germans just like that. There are English people who've learned a foreign language, which they can speak. There are English people who've learned a foreign language at school who can't speak it. And there are Germans who've learned English, but just because they've learned it at school for a few years doesn't mean they can speak it. So you do come across a lot of Germans who don't speak English, or maybe they do speak English, but they're lacking the confidence, something that a lot of English people have as well.
Yeah. Is it a mark of respect if you can actually do some German?
That's the next bit, because what a lot of people seem to forget is that the reason why the Germans, or a lot of Germans, speak English is because they learned it at school. They had to learn it at school, and they did. Just like English people learn the foreign language.
Mm-hmm.
But somehow things then go amiss because English people think, and luckily it's not all English people. I would like to add straight away, I know a lot of people who want to learn German, who are learning German, but there are a lot of people, a lot of English people, and I think it probably goes for American people as well, who just don't want to because everybody speaks speaks English. But I think we need to remember that the reason why the foreigners speak English, and it's not just the Germans, it's the other countries as well, is because they are making the effort of learning it. And it is nice, a little bit of respect to return that respect. And even if you're going on holidays, even if you just learn some basic phrases, some ja, nein, and well, the important one, ein Bier bitte, and even if you learn how to say sprechen Sie English. Now that's so much nicer than saying, do you speak English? And then shouting a bit louder, which hopefully most people don't do anymore. But even if you're just saying sprechen Sie, even if you just learn that one sentence, sprechen Sie English, Yeah, it shows the other person, okay, I can't speak any German, but I'm aware of my shortfall, and I wish I could speak a bit more German, but until I can, do you speak any English so you can speak to me?
Indeed. Right, that ends the formal part of Ask Angelika, which is normally to run 15 minutes. So we've done that, and we'll edit the video. Well done. That's good. Right, okay. And a comment from Sanjeev, which I'll read to you. Hi, Stephen. It's so nice to hear Angelika. I agree with her.
Thank you, Sanjeev.
So do I, most of the time. No, it is brilliant to be on there, and it brings it to life, doesn't it, Sanjeev? Brings learning language to life when you can actually speak to Frau Davey and see. I'm being formal there.
You're being very formal now. Yes.
Being very formal.
You may call me Angelika.
Thank you, and hello to Stephen as well. It's good to see you here. Would either of you like to come on camera? If you just say yes, then we'll bring you on camera. No problem at all. Yeah, both on the desktop, so we're good there. Very good. Okay, now what will happen is this. I'm going to invite you in, Sanjeev. You then get a screen showing up, and you've got 30 seconds to accept. You'll see yourself on camera, and then this picture will change, and there will be 3 of us. So 30 seconds, and here we go. Right, so I've invited you, and we're now on a countdown. And that didn't work first time, so I'm going to try again. Persistence is the key. Okay, and it's now loading. Excellent.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
It's nice to see you.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Ich bin Sanjeev.
Hello, Sanjeev.
Hello, Angelika. Hello, Stephen.
Hello.
Das ist 10 Minuten vor 7 Uhr in India.
10 vor 7. Morgens oder abends?
Abends.
Abends. Okay.
And das ist, ich bin sehr glücklich for Angelika. She is meine, ich bin ihr Student.
Ja, und ich bin die Deutschlehrerin.
Ja, ja, langsam Deutsch lernen.
Ja.
Okay.
Did you have a question?
Meine question is, ich hatte eine Geburtstag auf 6, right? 16th of September. Ich hatte eine Geburtstag und ich hatte eine Freund in Bangalore. And I forget how to speak in German, and I have to disclose that today is my birthday, and my plan was to speak in German so that they could not get that today is my birthday. so how do you say that, like, today is my birthday and we have like 10 friends, and my idea was that heute ist Mittwoch or heute ist Freitag, this is this date, and today is my birthday, and these are my friends, and they all will celebrate the birthday zusammen.
Yeah.
So wir alles celebrate Geburtstag alles zusammen.
Ja, feiern. Celebrate is feiern. So
Ja.
Wir feiern meinen Geburtstag zusammen.
Oh, okay.
So today's, well, if we get the English, today's Friday, 23rd of September. It's my birthday, and we'll take it from there.
Right.
So that's what you want to hear in German?
No.
No. Okay.
Yeah. So first part is right. Then I have to say that these all are my friends.
Yeah,
and all of Yeah, all of them will celebrate all of the birthday together.
Also, there's several birthdays, not
Yeah,
just
so
yours.
yes.
Ah, okay. So yeah, so for example, also heute ist Freitag, der 23. Und you're pointing to your friends, so these are meine Freunde. Und wir feiern alle unseren Geburtstag zusammen.
Yeah, and then we will all scream and have a selfie of together, and I want to put that as a skit on YouTube of 40 seconds.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
So it was your birthday on the 16th. So
Yeah,
I have to say, herzlichen Glückwunsch nachträglich zum Geburtstag.
Danke schön.
And that was belated birthday wishes.
Right. I understand. Right. Yeah. So yeah.
Which of Angelika's courses are you taking?
I had A1 from the Goethe Institute. After that, I get in touch with Angelika, and I try to participate in the 30 days challenge. And fortunately, I made my terrific efforts to learn, and I googled it out. The Princeton, there is a band in Germany, the Princeton, alles. Das ist Deutschland, and that is all we are. So I like the metallic sound a lot. And then I come to know Arnold, the famous California governor. He's also Deutsch speaking. And slowly I started getting more flavor and enjoyment of just listening to German. And I subscribe to German radios on internet. So there are various streaming radio where they talk on culture and various policies around Germany. So it is really fun to listen to it. The words sound very familiar. So I was more in a passive way that, okay, I cannot speak, my active vocabulary is not that great, but I could listen to more of radio and those YouTubes. And whenever in the office there is some disturbance, then I will play the German music, old Gothic music, and I will just listen to the audio part of it, and it will make some happy moments. So, and then I summarized and wrote all these things in my 30-day challenge. And fortunately, I was successful to, get a gift from Angelika on that. And it came to my office, and I showed to my friends. And it so happened in our cafeteria there was a person from Germany on academic exchange to Bangalore. And he was sounding like a little bit of, eyes or colors or, hair color. Then I just went near to him and I said, Sprechen du Deutsch? And he said, yeah. And then we become good friends. And another friend I found here. So he's from Turkey. He's born in Germany and he works into Switzerland. And he's looking for somebody who can teach him Hindi. And I know Hindi very well, and we become kind of, exchange tutor for each other.
Yep.
That's a good idea. So you're teaching each other. Stephen, I also need to add, actually, that Stephen and Sanjeev, both of you, are co-authors of my poetry book.
Yeah, right. And I was like thinking it is very simple for me. I can take my old poem, which is written in Urdu and Hindi, translate into English, and then translate it to German. I did a translate.google.com, and I was very happy that I have made it. And Angelika said, no, that is simple translation you have done. This is not acceptable.
No, especially not when you use Google Translate.
So I said,
but you did a good job in the end.
So then I really thought it over. I composed a poetry then and there itself one fine evening in Bangalore, and it took me a couple of hours, but I did wrote into pure Deutsch without any translator, and this time it struck reasonably well because that was coming from my heart.
Yes,
and Angelika.
Which is a lot better. It's good. Google Translate is good to check things over, but it's not if you want to do something. And as you've noticed, the teacher spots these things.
Yes. So I was happy about it, and then I showed it the Amazon book to all my friends and social media, and I told that, hey, look, there are 4 days. You can take it for free. After that, you have to pay.
That's
So
right. Yeah.
a few of the friends liked it, and I downloaded a copy of it, and I was very happy. I work into academics now, and I said before I make my technical publication, here is my first publication in literature.
Yeah, it's good. It's good being published, isn't it? It's brilliant
Yes,
to be in
yes.
print.
It's brilliant to
Yes.
see your name in print. Absolutely.
Right,
It's really
right.
good.
Right. Okay. So
Right.
that's all from my side. Yeah.
It's been a pleasure to meet you, Sanjeev.
Yes, it
And
has been.
we're here again in 2 weeks. You're welcome to join us. And in the meantime,
Yes.
take care. And Angelika?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's it then, isn't it? Yeah, well, it's really nice to speak to you, and maybe speak to you again in 2 weeks' time.
Sure. I'll come up with more questions about it. Thank you so
Brilliant.
much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Have
you.
a good day.
Bye.
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 All right. Just give me a second.
Okay.
Right. Well, that was wonderful.
And I think that's going to be a bye-bye from us as well now, isn't it?
It would appear so. If you're saying bye-bye, then ich sage auf Wiedersehen.
Ich sag tschüss.
Tschüss. Thank you to everybody who's watched. We'll catch you in 2 weeks' time. Take care.
The choice to continue with the conversation, how I feel as a German most happy. If I am a very formal person who's still insisting on surnames and everything else, then I would then say, guten Tag, Herr Healy.
Yeah.
And that would be your cue then. Right, okay, that person there is still very formal. They're on first surname and the formal you. I know now how to carry on talking to this person.
Wie geht es Ihnen?
Exactly. And then I would have said, fine. Oh, that's English. Oops. Gut, danke. Und Ihnen. That's because we're talking English now, isn't it? Mind you, this is probably what a lot of English people do when they're in Germany. Had I, though, once you said, ich heiße Stephen Healy, I may have just said, hello, Stephen.
Do I have to give my surname as well as my first name?
Yes, a good question, particularly for English people. I can't talk too much about other nationalities. They may be different for them. But in England, the standard is, if I were to meet you, say at a business meeting, and I said to you, and what's your name? How would you answer it?
My name's Stephen.
Well, exactly. And I would just say, I'm Angelika. We would just introduce ourselves with our first name. Now, in Germany, a lot of Germans are still very formal. If you're learning German, you will have most likely by now heard that there are two words for the you, the formal you, the Sie, and the informal you, the du. Very quickly explained. Du you use with members of the family, really good friends.
Hopefully, hello.
Hello.
Good to see you. Right, okay. We'll just give it a minute or two, see if anybody does join us. We'll see. If anybody joins us, all well and good. If not, it's just the two of us. So, good afternoon and welcome to this third episode of Ask Angelika, where Angelika answers questions about the German language. Good afternoon, Angelika.
Good afternoon, Stephen, and good afternoon anybody who is listening or who will be listening.
And indeed watching the replay. Now, basically the format is that we take questions during the course of the run-up to the show, and then Angelika will answer them live on air. So our first question today, if I can get this right, just give me a second. Okay. When I introduce myself in German,
children, students would use du as well, but adults that you don't know use the formal you. Now things are changing in Germany. A lot of Germans are quite happy with using the English way as well, but there are equally a lot of Germans who still are very formal. How do you know?
Indeed, yeah.
And you don't. So the best way always is, if you're introducing yourself, so you've just learned how to say ich heiße, or you've learned how to say mein Name ist, is by introducing yourself with first name and surname. Because what happens then is, if I said to you, guten Tag, wie heißen Sie? What could your answer be?
Ik heiße Stephen Healy.
Right, now Stephen's given both his names, giving me now.
Hello, Angelika.
That would have been your cue. Great. First names, they're fine.
Wie geht's?
Exactly. And then this time I will reply in German, gut danke. Und dir?
Ich bin gut, danke.
So until you know whether that person is using the formal you or the informal you, I would always suggest use the formal you. It is a lot easier to go from the formal you to the informal you if the other person actually is quite easygoing than the other way around. You could be putting your foot in it if you think you can use first name and du. For example, a job interview. Whatever you do, do not just say, ich heiße Stephen, if you're going for a job interview in Germany. You won't get that job.
Right.
Yeah. If you are a bit